Hey guys, my name is Jonas, I'm an architect, and today I want to talk about a crazy little thing called productivity. So, how do you stay productive all day when you work as an architect? Because we do work a lot, and if you want to have some free time left, obviously we have to up our productivity. And I've been working in this field for somewhat around 10 years already, and in the beginning I used to struggle a lot on finding the high productivity in my workflow. I would spend hours on these simple tasks simply because I didn't know how to do them properly. I questioned myself way too often about every single thing on the way. So during those years I developed a number of skills that helped me up my productivity, and I want to share those skills with you and what can you do to up your productivity. So let's get started, and the first one is setting realistic goals for the upcoming days. So let's say you work on a project. Your goal of the day is to work on the project, right? And not so much, because if you want to be productive, you better take a smaller goal. Think of the goal that you can realize in maybe 1 or 2 hours, maybe half of the day, but no more than that, because if the goal is bigger, you will not be able to control yourself. You don't know how much time you will need exactly, so make sure you create a small realizable goal. Know exactly the steps you need to start taking to realizing that goal. So drawing a first floor plan, for example, is a very acceptable goal that can be easily realized. Okay, so the next one is self-motivation. And what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes we just struggle to find motivation. We're not in the mood, maybe we didn't sleep that well, and we just don't feel motivated to work. And so what can we do about it? Different people find different ways and different sources of motivation, but one simple obvious answer is maybe to look up some very successful famous architects that you like, watch an interview, a mini documentary, whatever. Maybe you take a part of their enthusiasm to yourself and get inspired, and then continue on your work. But also a trick that I can share I do with myself is I play a little game, and I imagine this situation where I am working with someone, and maybe with a student that I'm teaching, and I want to show how to work properly, how to think, and in my mind I'm working and I'm explaining what I'm doing to someone who I imagine, basically. So yeah, that's right. So I create this situation, artificial situation, and I don't want to make a fool out of myself, so I try hard and I try to focus. So I imagine I'm teaching someone all the time. And then even doing a simple task, drawing a closet, or drawing, a kitchen, becomes very important to me, and I explain every dimension that I use, and I really want to work fast. So I create this situation, artificial situation. I just pretend I'm explaining and teaching someone, or someone is supervising me or examining me, and so I don't want to make a fool out of myself. I try hard, I try to be consistent with my thought, I just try to be as good as I can on that particular subject, even though it might be boring. That's a trick I sometimes use, and it helps me a lot, to get my rhythm going and to get my productivity up. So another thing is music. I can't stress enough how important is music to me, but in a certain ways. When I work, I try to listen to the very similar kind of music, similar style. So I have some playlists that I use, and I circle them around simply to train my brain to associate a certain type of music with productivity and focus. And in that way, when I struggle to find productivity and I don't play any music, for example, I put on that playlist that I remember I was working hard when that was playing. And then my mind triggers something, my consciousness starts to work and remember that focus that I had last time, and then I really get my rhythm up, get my productivity, I start working. It's a great tip, I suggest you try it out. It's very simple, just take your time and train your consciousness, develop a good habit, so you listen to a similar kind of music when you're working, and then when you struggle, you put that music again, and it helps you get your rhythm back. Another important thing is understanding your body. Different people have different hours that they're active and they're most productive at. So some people are very productive in the early mornings, some people in the evenings, some people are productive before the lunch or after lunch. It depends on you, but you have to realize your strengths and your strong hours. So if you realize that in the morning you are very productive, you're full of enthusiasm and energy and motivation and excitement to work, make sure you spend those hours working doing the creative work, drafting the complex drawings and things like that. Don't spend it traveling somewhere, meeting someone, calling someone, conferencing someone. That's not a good idea. So take advantage of your strengths, because it's very hard to be consistent all day long and be as productive and as inspired all day long. So know the hours you're best at and make sure to take advantage of those hours. Also, the last one, but very obvious one, you should learn to work faster. Easier said than done. But every time you do a task, just make sure that every time, if it's a repetitive task, you find a way to do it faster by using more shortcuts or new shortcuts, maybe creating templates, using presets. All that kind of things can help you improve your speed. By working a lot, don't do the same thing at the same tempo all the time. Try to improve, and that way you can save a lot of time. If you think about that every day, like in 1 or 2 years, you will be twice as fast on the same exactly tasks that you did before. And so that will be a huge time saver for you, and then you'll have a lot more time, free time, that you can relax and recover, and get back to work next day without 5 hours sleep, but with 8 hours of sleep or 10 hours of sleep or whatever it is that you need and want. Those are basically the tips that I use and I found during my career thus far that are really helpful and helped me a lot to keep my productivity in high levels. I hope it can help you too. Try some of those tips out. Write in the comments whether it helps you. Maybe you have your own tips. Keep your productivity up. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time. Cheers.